Welcome to my Raw review for, I believe it was at St. Louis tonight. Um, Not great Raw or good Raw, not a bad one. It's an average one. Kind of a Roman Reigns thing. That was from for Jen right there. But Raw starts off with Stephanie McMahon coming out, then Shane comes out, then Kevin Owens, then Cesaro. That segment, and my phone dropped. But that segment started off Raw, and it was, a pretty good segment. Then we got KO versus Cesaro to be the number one contender. This seemed like a match from 2 weeks ago, but I didn't care for it. I didn't care that they were doing it again. But Cesaro ends up hitting The Miz. KO wants to use the Miz's championship belt. Miz don't allow it. Cesaro does an uppercut to KO, then does one to Miz, and Cesaro is about to make Kevin Owens tap out, and the Miz attacks him, so it's a no. Boom, boom, boom. Cesaro wins by DQ, and the Miz is attacking both of them, and here comes Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn cleans house, basically cleans KO and The Miz, and at the end of the segment, he's holding the Intercontinental Championship, which in a very good moment to see on Raw. Very good. Sprite, the best drink. And then you had Stephanie and Dean backstage. Basically, Dean was saying, I don't believe all this BS bullcrap that you're, believing in about having her being, this good person on screen. And Stephanie says that she'll be on the Ambrose Asylum, saying that she'll answer any questions truthfully. So there's that segment backstage. Then you had a backstage segment with what JBL called the club, AJ Styles, Gallows, and Anderson, with what I call the Samoan Dynasty, the Usos and Roman Reigns. But this was actually a pretty good backstage segment, even with the Usos in it. So, didn't mind that. And they had like a backstage thing of Tyler Breeze and Goldust and then Fandango and Raw R-Truth. It was pretty entertaining. So you had Goldust versus Tyler Breeze, and by God, if fucking Tyler Breeze wins a match, finally, he beats Goldust, and thank God. I don't care if it's a stupid gimmick thing, he's the storyline he's in, if you want to call it a storyline. But he finally won a match, and that's better than normal. Then you had the New Day, Vaudevillains, Dudley, and Big Cass segment. My bad. I must be drunk now or something. Not really drunk, but in my mind, I'm drunk or something. But this was a good segment. New Day, they're always funny. The Vaudevillains were splitting heel heat tonight. I believe it was Aiden English, Summer Gotch. It was Summer Gotch of the Vaudevillains. So, yep, Enzo's the realest guy in the emergency room. I said, my mouth dropped because I was like, that was a great damn heel line. And they allowed him to say that, so that's good. With Enzo getting hurt like that, it does help the Vaudevillains to get heel heat now even better. But this segment was good. Want to mention, Big Cass made fun of Bubba when he was stuttering back in the day when they started in WWF, that was back then, and it was pretty damn funny. And I started laughing. I just could not believe that he did that. So Big Cass on his own with promos, he can do it by himself. People just didn't realize it. I didn't realize it. I knew he was good, but I didn't think he was that good. So big props to Big Cass. And then they started brawling at the end of the segment, and it ended up being the New Day and Big Cass versus the Vaudevillains and the Dudleys, and the baby faces go over on here. The New Day and Big Cass wins in a very good tag team match. It just did not seem like the crowd was into it, and I don't know why, because it was a good tag team match, 6-man. Then you had Emma versus Becky Lynch. This was a very good women's match. It got, I don't know how long it really got, but it did get over 5 minutes, which is better than it has been normally. So props to WWE allowing these women to wrestle more than 5 minutes. But Emma gets the win here like I predicted, and I believe they will feud. They will have a match at Extreme Rules, in my opinion. Then you have the Ambrose Asylum with Stephanie, and then it gets to a point when Dean just talks about how do you feel because Shane's been gone 7 years, and Vince just still gives him control raw with you when you've been working your ass off everywhere. So she says, since Shane's doing something, I'm going to announce something. I'm going to say the Ambrose Asylum is canceled, and I'm bringing back the highlight reel with Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho comes out. Dean and Chris Jericho brawl, and it ends up being a code breaker for Y2J onto Dean, and that ends that segment. So Y2J is not over. He was just trolling us on Twitter. Then they announced earlier before the night, maybe after a segment after the club and the Samoan Dynasty, there's going to be a battle royal to see who is the number one contender for the United States Championship. So I really thought Corbin was going to win, really. I really thought he was the guy that would win, but it ends up Rusev wins, and I am so glad this is making him. This match versus Kalisto at Extreme Rules could be really good, and I believe Rusev should go over if they have the match then. Because I'm a big fan of Rusev. Because I'm a big fan of heels most of the time. Now, I am a fan of some faces, but heels, I would be a heel if I was in the WWE by far. Then you had Natty and Little Nate show Charles Robinson, Charlotte, and Ric Flair's segment. This was nothing to really die for, honestly. But it was nice to see Natty put Ric Flair in the sharpshooter in it. And it was announced by Stephanie that they will have a submissions match at Extreme Rules, and Ric Flair is banned from ringside. Thank you, Stephanie. The best decision you've had in a good while. I will agree with that. But that match is, if it was an ultimate submission match and you'd give them 15 minutes to do submissions and everything, that could be even better for them. But we'll see where this goes. And then you had the Club versus the Samoan Dynasty in a very good main event 6-man tag team match. The Club goes over and beats them. And so Gallows and Anderson has Roman on the side beating him up. Does their, I forget what it's called, but Gallows has him up here and Anderson comes and kicks him, and then he puts him down, Gallows. They do that over there by the apron or something like that. And then they toss him back in the ring after AJ wins the match. And gets a steel chair and says, AJ, do it. So they wouldn't do it. So the Usos come in after the club starts beating on Roman. They attack the club. Gallows and Anderson, and then AJ starts hitting chairs on the Usos, which was great because you know how I hate those awful Usos. There's my line, of course, always. But after that happens, Roman gets up, sees that, does a Superman punch, gets mad, hits AJ out of the ring, throws him over there by the fans. The barricade, that's what it's called. Throws him onto the barricade one time and does it another time. Gets the announcer's table, throws the stuff off in the monitor, picks him up, powerbombs AJ Styles to the table, looks at him, points at him, and everything. And this feud has even gotten better, in my opinion. Cannot wait to see what happens. And I don't care if you hate Roman Reigns or if you like AJ Styles, which most fans do, and people hate on Roman. This feud is good because of both of them, and you have Gallows, Anderson, and the Usos with it. I'll give the credit to WWE with this thing, even though the Usos are in it. I'm actually giving them credit for being in it, but it makes it more interesting. But Raw, like I said, it wasn't great or good. It wasn't bad, but average. But I've got some questions here after my Raw review from I Like John Moxley, which is Dean Ambrose's real name. I don't know if I said that last name wrong, but I'm sorry if I didn't. She said, and her name's Sam. Follow her. Big Dean Ambrose fan. Passionate wrestling fan. Do you think Roman Reigns Roman Reigns. Dear God, I need to go to bed. Do you think Randy Orton will make his return before or after Extreme Rules? I believe it'll be after. If you want to make sure he's, more available, I think maybe Money in the Bank would be a better possibility for his return, or maybe the Raw or two before. But I do expect him after Extreme Rules, not before. There might be reports of him doing before, but I'd say after Extreme Rules, in my opinion. But I cannot wait until he does return, because I'll be glad, because I've always been a big Randy Orton fan. From James MAR 91917904, who would be better as IC champion in this 4 people feud that they got going on? I want it to be Cesaro. Who would be better? It'd be Sami Zayn or KO for right now. But The Miz, I don't, I really, if he retained, if they do a Fatal 4-Way at Extreme Rules, I'd be glad with that too. So, and I guess this is a next question with it. Thoughts on the dual management of the Angle, meaning I guess having 2 feuds and going to be in one. I do like this scenario where it could all these things that could happen, but I really do enjoy this because it does fit in perfectly with the pay-per-view, in my opinion. So I do like it. From @JenWrestle, please follow her. Jen, who would you like to see join the club, as J Bill would call it, and everything? Let me take a drink here. Never fails. Who would I like to join the club with them? if anyone, it has to be Finn Balor in my opinion. But if it's gonna be someone else, nobody, just the three of them. But I still think it's gonna be Finn Balor, Gallows, and Anderson, just them three. Eventually down the road, whenever that is. I don't think AJ's gonna be in it. For the second question, do you think WWE has successfully built new faces in the company? New faces of the company in John Cena's and Randy Orton's absences. They've done good with Apollo Crews, but I mean, I know he hasn't faced anyone big yet. Done good with Corbin, even though I don't know why in the hell he lost at the pay-per-view at Payback Sunday night. Cesaro with his return, lit. Kevin Owens, definitely, they've done good with him. They made a star. Roman Reigns is always there, and I know she's not going to like that answer, but yes, I would have liked him to see him after he got the tag team championships in the Shield. After they broke off and everything, I wish he would have went to the U.S. Championship or IC Championship first before having the big World Heavyweight Championship. But it is what it is, and that's booking. That's not his fault. But there's a lot of people they've done good with since they've been gone. Kalisto, they've done good with. They just booked his storyline's not good with Ryback. But the Ryback and Kalisto has had great matches. So, her last question, who do you see as the top faces of WWE in the next 10 years? Dean. You got, I think Rusev could be, easily. I really do. Depends if they're in there 10 more years. I mean, probably will. Kevin Owens. You got Sami Zayn. I mean, Seth Rollins for sure. I mean, you got a lot of them. Cesaro. You got a lot of them that could be there. But 10 years, you don't know if they're going to be there for the next 10 years. But if they were, that's who I would pick. And, of course, the final one that she does not want me to pick. Roman freaking Reigns. Hey, he's not a bad guy. He's not a good guy. He's just the damn guy, by God. So, if you liked my Raw review, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'll be back on Friday for the 12th edition of Team Legend Wrestling Show. You can ask me questions or tweet me or direct message me at team__Lesnar and ask me questions, and I will answer them on Friday in my video. And I will see you guys next time. Roman Reigns.